people see the end result, which is a shiny red airplane, and they go, that's nice, you know, like that's cool, but like it's more to me than that. It's the reflection of everything I had to do to earn that. Growing up for me was like, I did have energy, but I didn't have anywhere to put it.
He's sky surfing, Dan. You wanna try? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kyle friend. We love you so much.
He teaches us many things, made us to take wars.
So like at school, I was put in special ed and they didn't, like I just felt like nobody believed like I was capable of anything. It was just like being in timeout. I would just sit there and not really do a lot. When you become like unconfident, you don't know how to recover from that. I don't have a really good way of being like other people. I was just bullied enough or teased to where I thought, I am weird. I was really restless. The school, like the institution, just wasn't speaking to me at all. I really needed to find something that I was passionate about. I found it right at the right time. Dad left to go to the office, said, I'm picking you up, don't take the bus. And he picked me up from school that day, and there was a leak in a hangar, and we had to fix some sheetrock. Even from the day my dad gave me that note in school, like that was the beginning like of the chain that changes your life. And you never know when it is until you like look back. First time I came to the airport and saw that airplane, I saw something I wanted to be involved in for the rest of my life. And at that point, it was like, whatever it takes. I met Mac McGugan, probably the most influential person in my life. And Mac showed me a couple things that he was working on. And I was actually kind of really interested in that. I was like, oh, this is how it works like this, and this is how this works. I was placed in the box for so long, and now coming out to this airport, I felt like I was out of that box. Mac put me on these floats that need to be drilled apart. So there was like a couple thousand rivets, and I just started drilling out each one. I think having somebody believe in me sparked the excitement. We're working on airplanes now. You know, I'm 14, we're working on airplanes, and he's expecting me to do a good job. And he knows I'm not gonna be perfect all the time, but I kept trying really hard, and he recognized that. I started using my special ed hours reading like ground school books. Everything I didn't learn in algebra, I ended up learning in metal shop. Now I have the contrast, like school doesn't care, and then Mac and the people at the airport like care, and like they believe in me. And I was kind of addicted to it, and I just kept coming here, and eventually they started paying me. I knew as a freshman I was at least going to be a pilot. I was going to have an airplane. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but this was a start. I've heard people say, like, if you want something, you have to want it more than you want to breathe. Wanting that airplane, there was no option to quit on it because I was identifying with that. When I was in the hunt for the Cessna 170, Mac had already said you should get a project. My dad called me, said that his boss knew where one was, and Max said, oh, you gotta buy that one. Max like spits his iced tea and it's dripping out of his like white beard. I said, okay, Dad, I guess we're buying it. When we found the plane, it was green and white. Somebody had carved their name into it, so it was this old banged up fuselage without any wings on or anything. And it was a wreck, but like it had the potential. I was excited. I mean, I was only 15 and I now owned an airplane. And yeah, sure, it couldn't fly, but it didn't matter. It still said I owned an airplane in the registry, so I owned one. When I was younger, I was definitely more impatient and wanted to do like the action and get in it and get things done and kick ass. People thought like, oh, he bought an airplane, he'll get bored of it eventually. I couldn't imagine not finishing it. I would work like 10 hours a day. And I started building this plane up and things were looking pretty good, but nothing ever really goes according to plan.
Got a lot of help today. What's going on, Sam?
I just wish she knew what I even did to earn $100 so that I could buy screws. I did some construction jobs. I dug ditches. I worked in a refinery to pay for the rent on the hangar. I even spent months up in Alaska fishing for salmon. I'd fished like 6 years just to earn as much as I could. I was out in these storms that are sometimes 12-foot waves, 30-knot winds. I'd fish like from 3 a.m. till 11 a.m. and then again from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. And you learn how to like sleep outside, like lean against a warm exhaust and sleep outside with your hood on and try to like channel that warm air coming out of the manifold without like getting hypoxia or anything. Fishing taught me a lot. No matter what, when it's time to fish, it's time to fish and you don't quit. Building the plane itself wasn't the hard part of it. The hardest thing has been, keeping motivated through the entire process and like absolutely not taking no for an answer and doing whatever it takes to really get that done. I couldn't imagine not finishing it. I could probably go over every part and just tell you like the experience of building just that or what happened to get that part. I was labeled with a learning disability, but by 21 I became a certified mechanic. I finished college 7 out of 8 quarters early. I'm a private pilot and I built my own airplane. I didn't let what anybody else thought of me dictate what I do. I doubt myself, and it's not uncommon for me to doubt myself, but then I see how far the plane's come and how much progress I've made, and there's no way I can go back on that. If you want something bad enough, if you truly want something bad enough, then you have to make the sacrifices. I could buy steak, but I buy airplane parts instead. This is just the beginning of this. What's next for me is to have the experience of flying this airplane to every state. And that's really important to me because I know that there's a lot more in this country to see. And the plane is the perfect way to do that.